Yo, 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 what's going on, good people? It's your homie HerbMan coming back at you with another hot banger boogie, man. So this series, man, is called Know Thy Cells, okay? The Secret, C-E-L-L-S. And so there's a particular reason why I wanted to come out with this video. I know you guys are wondering, like, what in the world cells got to do with the secret? Well, the thing about it is sometimes, you know, if we can get the science of a thing, if we can break it all the way down, man, to understand exactly what we do and how it affects everything about everything, we can make a conscious decision to make the changes that we need and necessary in our day-to-day walk, man. So this is what this is really all about, just trying to drop some science, get you guys to understand exactly everything that we do around us, how our environment, how what we hear, what we see, and all those things affect us all the way down to the molecule, to the cell, to the DNA. All right. So, hey, man, go tell somebody your boy's on, man. You're rocking with the best, man. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, man. I sure appreciate everybody and all the love. All right. Hold on 1 second here while I share this screen. Let me know when you guys get it. All right. Like I said, you rocking with the best, man. It's your homie man. Go tell somebody to go tell somebody, man. So again, what are the keys to health? A lot of times what happens is we listen to a lot of people and we got all these fads, all these diets, man, and we really don't know which way to go. And a lot of times we try a lot of stuff, but it doesn't seem to work. And if it do work, it only works for a particular time. And then we're like, okay, we're stuck back at square one. And a lot of times we don't understand that it's not necessarily the fad, although some of them are crap. Again, but most of it has to do with one's commitment to a thing, okay? You get the most out of something when you put the most into it. All right, so for all of these things won't work unless you really have a high level of commitment to the change making that you want to happen, you want to see happen in your life. All right. So that's the number one key to health. And that's the number one key to wealth and everything in life. You have to make that conscious commitment to do the right things. All right. We'll get back to the screen right here. So in that, we have to understand that it all starts with self. That's S-E-L-F. All right. But in starting with self, we need to have some kind of understanding of ourselves from a molecular level to really get the gist of what happens inside of me to understand what I need to produce outside of me. All right. Because we're all just microcosms of time and space. We're all just microcosms of the earth. The earth is microcosm of the body. I mean, it just all connected together. And so we need to get some kind of understanding all the way down to the science. So what is a cell? Okay. A cell is a part of all living things, man. Okay. It's part of all living things. It's made up of proteins and little organs, okay, called organelles. All right. And what they do is they group together to form your tissues and your organs. All right. All in your body. So the ones that formulate the tissues and the organs, and then you got some that formulate your skin, some that's going to formulate your lungs, some that's going to be in your blood. You see what I'm saying? All of them are different and they have different functionality. But the main purpose of a cell is to organize. Now, to me, I hear that and I say that means they're coming into balance. See, life is nothing but a balance, people. It's not necessarily all about what you're doing, is that you're doing too much of it. Sexaholics, alcoholics, sugar addicts, you know what I mean? We're salt addicts. And so we can't get enough of a good thing. So life is truly about a balance. And this is all the way down to the molecular level. All right. So they come in, they try to organize, they try to balance your out of whack body, your out of whack habits, your out of whack diets, your out of whack mind, your out of whack conditions. And then they try to put it all and try to make sense of it, although it's foreign to the natural progression of the body and the mind. And this not only goes for the body itself. What I'm talking about is everything in our world. because everything affects you all the way down to the molecular level. Even when we're talking about what you hear on the radio, what you see on the TV, or what you see in your home or in your environment, all of this stuff happens all the way down to a molecular level. See, we are meant to group together, all right, to formulate colonies and systems and things of that nature. But it all should be in one harmonious way to balance out life. Now, see, again, when we start here by balance, it say what cells hold a variety of pieces, and each cell has a different set of functions. All right, so that means it's okay to be different. You know what I mean? Everybody got a different position. Everybody got a different functionality, but we all working toward the same goal. Some cells move throughout the body, all right, like blood cells. Others are attached to one another like the muscle cells, and they just stay in one place. Some cells, like skin cells, they divide and reproduce quickly. So you're going to have different groups of people that reproduce quickly, or that's going to be different over here that never go anywhere, that are indigenous to their land. And then you're going to have people that are going to be nomadic and going to be moving everywhere across the earth. You see what I'm saying now, people? Know thyself, okay? Now, see, so it's meant for us to be a variety of different types of groups of people. All right. Now, nerve cells do not divide or reproduce except under usual circumstances. So there again, you have different types of cells. Now, the longest cell in the human body is the motor neurons, and those are going to be the ones that are from the lower spinal cord all the way down to your big toe. All right, they're about 4.5 feet long. Then you got your red blood cells that carry what? Oxygen around the body. They are created inside the bone marrow of your bones. The largest cell in your body is a fertilized egg, and even that is too small for the naked eye. This is just how special life is. The human cells have a membrane that holds the contents together. However, this membrane is not just a sac. It has receptors that identify the cell to other cells. So again, it's okay for us to communicate. Quite natural for us to have this particular attraction, this electromagnetic traction that we have toward one another. Okay, now within the cell membrane are two major compartments: the cytoplasm and the nucleus. Right now, the cytoplasm contains structures that consume and transform energy and perform the cell's function. Now, when you look over here to your right over here, you see you got cytosol. So all of this tan over here in this cell, this is your cell to the right. Let's go over here and look at this cell. This cytosol, this is what is the actual cytoplasm, all this tan, okay? Now, the actual point of anything is to get to the mitochondria, okay? The mitochondria is what we call the powerhouse or the power plant of this particular cell. Now, the nucleus is here. The nucleus job is to divide this cell when it needs to be, okay? All right, then you got the Golgi. The Golgi is just down there to kind of bundle up everything and get it ready for processing. And the endoplasmic is also too another little processing center that's good for production and all of that of the proteins and the lipids. All right, proteins and the fats. All right, so now let's get back over here to, although there are different types of cells, most cells have the same components. Okay, a cell consists of a nucleus and a cytoplasm, which we just said. The cell membrane regulates what passes in and out of the cell. Inside every cell is mitochondria. Mitochondria are tiny structures that provide the cell with the energy that you're seeking. Cells are specialized to their function. They're also called specialized cells. Each group of specialized cells organized to form what is known as a tissue. See, these are people who have specialized skills in the world, okay? And then they formulate things that are out here in our world that we need to use, like how to build a home and things like that. So you see how the cells could give you a direct understanding of self, but also too of your health. Now, what does a cell need? What actually are we talking about here? What are the needs of the cell? Well, the cell needs water, it needs oxygen, it needs glucose, it needs what we call lipids or fatty acids, vitamins, and minerals. The same exact things you need. Okay? And the cells are going to produce for you. When you give them what they need, they're going to produce for you the energy that you desire. Okay. They also give off water because you need water. You are 67% specifically of water. The cell is 67% specifically made of water. Okay. And also too, is going to push out the carbon dioxide that you need to push out to give to the plants, while the plants give back to you the oxygen that you need. And they also produce waste, just like you. See, when you eat and when you drink, you do almost all those things over there. You give off energy, you give out water because you urinate, your skin sweats, your colon give it off when you go to the bathroom. You also too breathe out carbon dioxide, and you already know you waste. Okay, so the same thing that the cell does, the self does, because the self is made up of nothing but cell. So when you ask yourself, why am I sick? It's because your cells on the inside are sick. Now you're a bigger tissue, you're a bigger organ, you are a human, okay? So you are made up of so many cells that make you look the way you look and make you feel the way you feel. But understand that these are molecular, these are down to the cells. So it doesn't have as big as gut for your alcohol. It doesn't have as big as lung for your smoke. So you kill them off. And what happens is cell cycle death we get into, and then we get into a situation to where now we are affecting the direct process of how it goes on the inside. And this is the beginning of disease, of cold, of obesity. This is the beginning. All right, now, so what you see here is exactly what the process is as far as what the cell is trying to achieve. When you eat your food, your liver instantly, when you eat your food, your stomach acid, it goes through all that process. I'll show you another video here. And then it gets all down to the molecular level. And basically the liver goes into work trying to get this thing made into glucose. All right. Now, what happens with that is when it gets made into glucose, your pancreas releases what is called insulin, because the glucose cannot enter into the cell membrane. Again, what we've seen back here, this outside area right here, it cannot get into that cell membrane. All right. Even better picture. It cannot pass this cell membrane here, right? Until insulin is with it. Now, when insulin get with it, it can come on in. Soon as it comes in, it goes through a 20-step process. All right, into when it's in the cytoplasm. That's when it's in that little brown there, that tan area. And you get two units of electrons or energy, or ATP. ATP is adenosine triphosphate. All right, so as soon as it comes in, it goes through a process which is called the glycolysis right there. And then you get the 2 APs. Then it goes through another process, what we call the pyruvate or the pyruvic acid, okay? And when it goes through this particular process, it turns into a whole nother thing here to get into the mitochondria, all right? And when it gets into the mitochondria, it goes through an 8-step process. But even though the steps are lower, it gives you 34 units of electrons or energy or ATP. So although this is a shorter step, you get a bigger bang for your buck, okay? Because it's into the power plant. This is what we call your power, your energy sources right here, okay? So what is the thing right here? This is the critical point, because this process will continue to happen until it is full. The cell is full. The cell will store food, the glucose, into little pockets that are over here. They call it glycogen, okay? And they'll store that little glycogen over into these little areas until it can't store anymore. Now, the liver also has those same pockets, and it stores a little glycogen too. But then it only can get so much, and then the liver starts sending and then the cell sends it back to the liver. Yo, we ain't got enough. The liver say, yo, I ain't got enough room either, so let's put it in the fat. Okay, so then it gets in the fat, and then that is the start of obesity. Okay, y'all see how that works? That is the start of obesity. So you want to give this particular cell or yourself the proper balance. Now, when you see the brown, you also too need to understand that inside of the cell is mostly potassium. Outside of the cell is mostly sodium. Okay, and that's a whole nother aspect to this particular understanding that you got to know. Now, to the right side, you see this is the cell membrane lining over here. All right, and pretty much these are channels. And on the outside of the cell is what I just said is sodium. Okay, it's more sodium on the outside than on the inside of the cell. So, so what happens is this allows potassium in, and this allows sodium in, but it also too pushes sodium out because it has a sodium potassium pump on it. All right, so that's just there just to keep that proper balance, to make sure this thing is working properly. Now, what normally happens is it'll kick out about 3 sodiums, and then it'll take in 2 potassium. So it'll always have more potassium than sodium. All right, now when that get out of whack, then now this has changed the molecular structure of this cell. When that balance is off, when that cycle happens and doesn't happen the proper way, this is what I'm trying to tell you. When it doesn't happen the proper way, it's over. So now when you get down here in this cell, you see it goes through another little citric acid cycle. That is only to oxidate this particular food right here for energy. The cell needs energy. You get most of your energy from oxygen, the oxygenation of the food. It turns it into oxygen. Okay, now you got to look at the aspects of how you get oxygen. That's one aspect, that's one key I just throwed at you. Okay, so now the various elements that make up a cell are here. They're 59% hydrogen, 24% oxygen, 11% carbon, 4% nitrogen, 2% phosphorus and sulfur. As for the organic molecules that make up a typical cell, it's more protein, like I said, then you got some nucleic acids, some carbs, some fats, and 10 other things that are in there. All right, but look at over here the hydrogen, 59% hydrogen. When you add those together, 59 and 24, that's almost 83% is water. Water gives you oxygen. Also, air gives you oxygen. So these are not in air, so they're getting all that from water. Aha, another key that to understand the true essence of health is that you really got to understand water as being a value to your health. See, I just hit you with one. I just hit you with one right there. See, I just hit you with one. Understanding the value of water. We perspire and just drain out every day 2.6 liters of water. Like I said, you urinate it out, you sweat it out from the skin, okay? And some come out of your colon, all right? And some come from your lungs, okay? So when you add all that up, that's 2.6 liters. Now that water that you shed out, that you urinate and you do all this with, it has to be put back in. And some of us are not really getting the value of water. See, y'all thought I was going to come on here and sell you some herbs and do all this types of stuff. Although herbs are very effective in the time of need, right? And also too for preventative methods. But at the same time, it is some of the bare essentials of life that we are overseeing, that we are over understanding. Why your back hurt? Drink water. Dehydration and hypoxia are going to give you a lot of symptoms that you don't even know that you have, that you don't even know are going to be the fundamental cause of your situation. How can you get oxygen through the air? Exercise. And you only have to do short, interval exercises so you can maximize the air that comes in your body. You don't have to do no long drawn out something, because the objective is not really to get fit. You'll get fit by doing high interval training. Because fit is really when the cells are fit. The cells are the identifier of how fit you are. So when you are sick, I want you to understand that you have sick cells, right? That created that sickness in the first place, but it all came from you and what you have been consuming. So this is the direction that we want to take, a different understanding of air and a different understanding of water and a different aspect of food. And let me go back to the channel and go back to the screen here and keep it moving. Guys, let me know when you see what you see. Now down here at the bottom, you got, according to the CDC and the U.S. Department of Agriculture, right? 9 out of 10 Americans are deficient in potassium. Wow. Okay. Potassium. Now, I just told you that your cell, you know, it has more potassium on the inside of it than it does sodium. But 9 out of 10, that means 90% of us, guys, come on, people, are deficient in what actually we need. So we need to understand that aspect. That's one golden nugget. Now, the next one is 7 out of 10 of us are deficient in calcium. Now, what is so important with calcium? Calcium is truly the king of the minerals, not because of it being effective for the bones and the teeth, although I know that's what they teach us, but truly because when you get back to the cell understanding, when calcium is almost the first one that comes into the cell, in order to let the other ones in, it's almost like he's the gatekeeper, okay? So calcium is very much important on a whole nother cellular level, okay? And this is why you need it, but now 70% of us is deficient in what we need. And I just told you that if calcium don't get in, it's almost impossible for the other ingredients to get in, the other vitamins, the other minerals that the cell needs, outside of sodium and potassium. You see what I'm saying? So there you go right there with, again, affecting you from a diet standpoint, from just looking at what we consume. You're all automatically against the cellular nature of yourself, of your cells. Now, 80% of us is deficient in vitamin E. Vitamin E comes in the fats. The fats are the flax seeds, the chia seeds, the sunflower seeds, the olive oil, the almond oil, the coconut oil. I just gave them all to you. Those are the good fats. The nuts, the pecans, right? The almonds, okay? The walnuts, the nuts, the seeds, the greens, the dark ones at that. 80% of us are deficient in the very thing that the cells need. 50% of Americans are deficient in vitamin A, C, and magnesium. Now, also inside the cell is chloride. Now, you can get magnesium chloride out of a lot of sea vegetables, out of the right salts like Celtic salt. Okay, so these are going to be things that you got to know how to feed your body. If you guys want to know foods for vitamin A, vitamin C, just let me know. I got it. I can give it to you. Okay, more than 50% of us, of the general population, is just vitamin D deficient, regardless of how old you is. 90% of people who shouldn't be vitamin D deficient are when you're talking about people of color. You see what I'm saying? And so what is the importance of vitamin D? That's also going to be good for your nervous system, your immune system, your bones, and your teeth. As you get older, you're going to need to be able to be strong. Folate acid is also another one. Folate, you're going to need to keep that up. Your iron, you're going to need to keep that up. All that stuff is critical throughout life. You got to keep all of that stuff up. You see what I'm saying? So now you're coming into a situation where you're out of shape. You're out of whack. You're faced with diabetes. You're faced with cancer. You're faced with AIDS. You're faced with herpes. You're faced with chronic arthritis. You're faced with skin issues. You're faced with all these things and you don't know why. Hell, I even got issues and I was like, damn, how in the hell why? It's because of all the stuff I did to my liver. So liver is one of those things. You got to understand that if you got skin issues, you need to clean your liver and do the things that you need to take care of your liver. The liver will renew itself. Okay, but these are the commitments that you got to understand you're doing, right? All the way down to a cellular level. Now, I wanted to show you guys this because I want y'all to see what happens to you when you don't have these potassiums and these vitamin A's and all this. And you'll see a rhythm. Now, this is one of the most important sections at this video. Okay, when I show you guys this, man, this is, I mean, for real, this is one of the most important sections in this video. I wanted to turn this around because, man, you need to go tell somebody, This is one of the most important sections in this video, because what you're going to see is a rhyme and a rhythm to when you are deficient. Now, I just gave you what the country is saying, what is going on. Now, is that all the way facts and fiction? You can probably, you know, drop some numbers here and there, and it'll still be too high. Okay, so at the end of the day, these are where we are deficient at, because if they are the growers of the food, they may have a point in saying this is what it is, because they're probably not putting it in there. So it may be, you know, incumbent upon us to be a little bit smarter to understand. This is one of these sections where we need to understand how important it is to read labels, grow your own food, but also too to know thy cells at a cellular level. Okay, these are the secrets and are the keys to health. All right, now let me turn this back around, because I'm going to show you how all of those deficiencies right there have a rhythm and a rhyme. Okay, have a rhythm and a rhyme. All right, you guys let me know when you're back in the build. All right, now here's the rhythm, here's the rhyme. So symptoms of potassium loss is weakness, tired, cramping. All right, you get a little tenderness and a little tingling, a little numb, nausea, bloating. You guys can see it, constipation, palpitation. All right, fainting due to low blood pressure. Okay, abnormal psychological behavior. All right, this could be due to mental illness right here, depression, psychosis, delirium, confusion, a hallucination. That's all if you got potassium. Now, you know how many people got potassium? Well, the food company just told you that 90%, but we got a mental health issue and we don't know why. See, I want y'all to understand, this is the video. This is the secret. All right, the food. The most common symptoms of low vitamin D are getting sick easily or often. Okay, so when you, I'm telling y'all the secret, man. Pay attention to this, man. Rewind this. Go tell everybody. Go show everybody. If you want to get healthy, it is a commitment. It's a social commitment, a cultural commitment. It ain't got nothing to do with one. It's too hard for you to do it on the individual level. It's too hard for you to do it on the individual level. Okay. Yes, it can be obtained, but you need to be able to push this on a social level, or otherwise everybody will fall victim to disease. All right, getting sick easily and often, fatigue. All right, that's the same thing as weakness and tired from potassium. Chronic pain in the bones, depression. That's the same thing as potassium. Now you're getting gut issues, wounds that don't heal, sweating, bones that break easily. You're fragile. Hair loss. Okay, weakness again, same thing as potassium. Now, what are the signs of vitamin A deficiency? Okay, I give you about 8 of these down here. Dry skin, dry eyes, all right? You got eye problems, night blindness, infertility, okay, and trouble conceiving. All due to vitamin A. Delayed growth, throat and chest infections, poor wound healing, acne and breakouts, okay? Acne and breakouts that you can't heal. Because if you're getting acne and that you can't heal, that means you vitamin A and vitamin D. Okay, you see what I'm trying to get now? It's a rhyme to this. Symptoms of hypocalcemia. Now this is just low calcium. Muscle cramps, numbness. Again, same thing. Muscle spasms. All right, this is when you're having muscle cramp, muscle spasm, and it won't stop, won't quit. And you don't even know why you keep having them in your foot, in your leg, in your arm. Seizures, facial twitchings. You know them facial twitchings in your cheek and by your eyes. Okay. Muscle weakness, lightheadedness, slow heartbeat. All right. A lot of us are starting to get the slow, weak hearts, anxiety, confusion again. Same thing as potassium, depression. Now, almost all of these are leading to some kind of mental situation, anger and hallucination. Damn, Having calcium is the same thing as having potassium. All right, now it's starting to be a little bit more psychological. All right, low levels of vitamin E. Now I'm feeling weak again in my muscles. Coordination and walking difficulties. Now when I feel dizzy all of a sudden, and y'all call it vertigo, but instead you might not have the right vitamin E in your body. Numbness and tingling. Okay, same thing as potassium. Vision deterioration. Okay, now you're dealing with me the same way vitamin A do vitamin E. Immune system problems. All these are going to cause something with that because it's the breakdown. Symptoms of vitamin C. Look at that, anemia. All right, don't want to eat, can't eat. Myalgia and pain. Again, you acting the same way as vitamin D act on that. All right, swelling, red spots resulting from bleeding under the skin, corkscrew hairs, gum disease, poor wound healing. Okay, now you acting like vitamin A. Mood changes and depression. Almost all of these deficiencies, people, has something to do with your mental health as well. And that's why I want to grab you right here. That's why it's so important for us to understand that this is also meant on a mental level. Everything that we do affects that thing in that nucleus, which is the DNA structure. Okay? That's your DNA inside that nucleus. And these cells are meant to divide and group, remember? And so when you eat things that are processed, you put foreign aliens, for the most part, inside your space. And when your body, your amazing body, breaks that all the way down to its cellular level, it does not communicate with it. It cannot see it as being something natural to the space that it's in. It cannot get anything from it, any nutrients from it, so it continues to store it in your fat. You're supposed to be utilizing that energy, but you don't because we live sedentary lifestyles. So we eat too much and we consuming too much energy, if we are at all, without utilizing it throughout the day. You should work for your meal. That means that you should be out here getting the right air, okay? Doing the right things in life to deserve that food because you're that hungry is what I'm saying. You need that food because you've been doing the right things to deserve that food, not from a social level as working, but from a physical level, you have done the right things by your body. Okay? So they hold us deficient on these. And I'm not saying that this is their fault. This is our fault for not understanding ourselves. And I believe this to be the thing that the ancient Egyptians put on the wall. It was know thyself from a cellular level. And those are the secrets to health as well as wealth. Now, hold on one second. Let's get back into the regular scheduled program. Let me know when you got it. All right. So we're going to move on from the cells. Now you guys get a good picture of what the cell needs, what it deserves, what you need, what all the things that you need. Now understand that a defective cell cycle, right? So now when we don't give it all those nutrients, the cell cycle, we throw the cell cycle off. And the cell cycle is, like I said, is to divide, is to group and make new tissue, new organs, all those things you're supposed to get all the time, brand new. So you got to understand what the cell food is, all right? When we get that, we understand that it's in our diet. That's the cell's food. We got to match our cell food up to what the cell needs. But again, when we don't do that, it throws the cell cycle off. All right, this foreign alien is in my body and I can't do nothing with it, and it throws the cell cycle off. Now the cell's supposed to commit apoptosis, but sometimes it don't. And when it don't commit apoptosis, is because it's dealing with these foreign aliens that is threw it off. It is through its digital DNA. Remember, I just told you. So now what you hear, cussing and killing and violence, all on the social media, can strike at your DNA and throw the cell cycle off, all based on the frequencies of sound, based on the frequencies of emotion. So when your heart beating fast, or when you're smiling, or when you're laughing, all of these things get to you. When you talk, all of these things get to you. You know why? Because it hits your mind, and when it hits your mind, it changes the molecular structure if you allow it to come into you, period. When you eat, when you breathe, when you think, all of these particular things, when you hear, all of these things come into you and change your molecular structure. So you have to understand that you need a pure balance of all things to keep a pure balance on within. If not, it's going to throw off the cell cycle, and the cell death regulation ends up in disease. Now, these are the diseases, including neurodegenerative, whatever. And then you got the hematological, you got your autoimmune, you got your cardiovascular, you got your metabolic, and you got your development associated disorders, and you got your malignant and pre-malignant diseases. Also, too, there go arteriosclerosis, all right, and there go your ischemic injury. So all of these things stem from a lot of the stuff we die from. When you're talking about neuro degeneration right here, when your nerves is going bad, that's when you got your nerve going bad, right? A lot of us suffer from bad nerve, blood disorder, right? There you go. Autoimmune diseases. For all of a sudden we getting out of this lupus and stuff like that, and don't act like we don't know what's going on. And basically, autoimmune is the cell turning on itself. It doesn't recognize. It cannot communicate. And that's why you have to change your diet if you're dealing with nerve damage, if you're dealing with blood issues, if you're dealing with autoimmune issues. You're putting foreign objects, aliens, into space. And your cells cannot communicate with these processes, with these hybrids, with these genetically modified organisms. They are aliens. Stop asking your cells, yourself, to go against your natural understanding. You get this? Stop asking yourself to live unnatural. You're doing it to yourself. Are we killing ourselves? You're getting bacterial and viral infections. There's so many diseases that come from these particular categories that it don't make sense. And these are all of the things that can happen from cell cycle and cell death. And it can happen from generation to generation if it comes through the DNA. That means the mother has to watch what she's hearing, saying, and doing when she's having a baby in her stomach. That means also, too, every individual has to watch what they are hearing, saying, and doing. See, we want to hear no evil, say no evil, so that we do nothing good. Sometimes you have to say, I hear it and I see it and I'm tired of it. No more. Know thyself. All right. And in knowing thyself, then we going into the next understanding of how to fix these things. Understanding the body. You take in, again, toxins through your nose, the trachea, the bronchus, and the lung. These are the key organs of when you're taking in air that is being distributed to the cells in your lungs. So when you're smoking and doing all that type of stuff, again, cell cycle and cell death. You cannot avoid it. If you're shortening the lives of something that's already going to die anyway, then it's just only a matter of time, man, until it get to you. Know thyself. You killing them off, you're next. Okay? The system is responsible for taking in oxygen and expelling carbon dioxide. Okay? That's really all this system is good for. Okay? This is what the main objective for this particular system is. When we're talking about the nose, we got little hairs in there, man. And those hairs will clean out all of that air, which is why it is appropriate for you when you're talking about pure clean air to breathe in your nose and out of your mouth. Okay? In your nose and out of your mouth. Turn this back around so that I can give you guys a little bit more pointers on breathing. So when you're breathing, you need to breathe in your nose and out of your mouth. And you see when I did that, my chest exploded, right? Because that's a good deep breath. It should come from within. In your nose, out of your mouth. And you see when you hear that squeezing, that letting you know that you got some, they're doing their job, but it also letting you know that you got some mucus in there, okay? And the more you keep doing it, if you put one nostril down and do this 5 times, right? And then you do the same the other side 5 times, and you take deep breath. If you do that when you wake up first thing in the morning, you can give yourself a nice oxygen level. All right, if you do it at the bedtime, you can do it right before you go to sleep. You can do that, and I promise you, you might not have to worry about heart attacks, okay? Why? Because you keep your blood circulating. Oxygen, people, okay? So this is what we're talking about, and that's the importance of the nose, and that's the importance of the lungs. Also, too, when we exercise, right? When we do high interval training, it'll get you up and going really fast. It'll get your blood circulation going really fast. Will also too make you start pumping in and out. Automatically, your body will start pumping in and out very fast, just like how my chest just did. You'll start doing that in a very short amount of time. So what we say is 30 seconds burst of energy. Go 30 seconds, all right? And then you rest for 90 seconds, okay? 90 seconds, give yourself a rest. Do that about 6 sets or 6 cycles. Do that 6 times early in the morning, way before you do anything. That'll kill the excess energy, the excess fat that is being stored in the fat, because maybe your cells has had enough, okay, of the glucose, of the carbs, okay? So although it needs a balance. So you got to understand that type of stuff. But these are the ways you can increase the oxygen level in your body just where you are. Now, if you got problems with going, running in place or doing jumping jacks or doing, heel toes like that, just get on your heel to just keep doing them for as long as you can, them 30 seconds. If that's an issue, try to get on the bike. If that's an issue, just try to do whatever you can to exert as much energy in 30 seconds and then rest, okay? Now, that is a way to increase the oxygen in your body and to your cells. Let's turn this thing back around and get right back to the regular scheduled program. All right, man, if y'all didn't know, man, go tell somebody, man. Your homie is on, man. You rocking with the best, all right? Now, here's some of the highlights of the lungs here. We went over some of them. Y'all already know you got 2. Each lung is divided into lobes. All right. We talked about the trachea. And so you guys can kind of look at this and just understand most adults breathe 12 to 20 times per minute, which amounts to 2,900 gallons of air per day. All right. An average adult male has 1.5 gallon lung capacity. Okay. So really, they say here on average, you're supposed to be able to hold your breath for about 2 minutes. Give yourself that test. But if you continue to do the interval trainings, you'll find out that all of that stuff will increase. And what you're looking at on that interval test is a shorter recovery time. Every time you'll start getting better and better at the recovery, and you'll get right back into your 30 seconds. So that's how you want to monitor that. All right. Now, a lot of people have problems with this flap right here, this epiglottis flap. All right. It always flap open or flap down, and you get air in your lungs. You keep swallowing. All right. Or when you lay down, you keep getting heartburn and things of that nature. It's all because you can damage the cells in those things by smoking. All right. So tobacco is going to be a no-no if you're really trying to get healthy, especially, when you're talking about all these particular things here that's affecting it all the way down to the cellular level. There's no way to get healthy. All right. Coughing and sneezing. All of that comes from irritants of dust and pollen. So these are the toxins that we get in every day. That's why it's important to make sure that our bodies are up to optimal health to fight against things that are not in our control. Okay? You got to be right now. If you're not, you're going to fall sick to something. And if it's not in our food and if it's all in the air, man, we're doomed. So we got to make sure that we're at optimal health to fight against some of the most dangerous, some of the most chronic ailments in our day and time. All right? So now you see asthma here is a respiratory condition where the airways constrict as a result of irritants. Okay, you see that? So again, that could all be from a DNA a structure to where air just came in there and just basically morphed or mutated the cells, and they can't grow. The cell cycle is thrown off. And so now we call it asthma. Okay. But it's because of outside toxins. So we need to make sure our immune systems are built up, especially in our children when they come in. The children don't really need any medication. See, we got to worry about things like that, like what we give them for shots and things of that nature. Could also all of these vaccinations, you know, painkillers, cortisone, birth control pills, statin, antibiotics, all those things could also too damage the DNA. So you got to be careful what you put into your body as a kid. You know, that's another reason why babies are getting all of these lung diseases, is because we're pumping them full of these antibiotics, which are antibiotics. They also too are the reason for all of these lung issues. All right. So we got to do what we got to do when we're looking at trying to take care of ourselves on a real serious level. All right. Now, the next thing we need to understand is the circulatory system. All right. Now, this is one of the most important, as you can probably understand, things that we got to see here. And this is going to be one of the reasons why. Okay. And one of the reasons why here is the heart. See, the heart, the lungs, the blood vessels. Okay. Why is this so important? Because this is everything that carries oxygen to everything. All the cells need the same things, but they do different things. This is the highways, the byways through your body. When you don't have enough oxygen, this coagulates. This slows down. You see that? When you don't do enough exercise, when you ain't getting enough oxygen and water. So how do I get oxygen? Exercise and water. Your food also can give you water. The cell needs water. Okay? So I'm showing you all these systems because I want you to see that this is where the water comes in and leaves. This is where the water comes in and leaves. Water's in the air. Water comes out of the lung. You shoot it out as carbon dioxide. You shoot it back in as oxygen. Oxygen is H2O. H2O got water in it. Okay? Water and oxygen. The circulatory system. Blood. So it needs what? Water. Oxygen. I could take you through that because I did a hell of a job at trying to give y'all that information, but I was just trying to shorten this and give you a really good thing to understand. The heart is one big pump, a muscle of fibers, all right? Its job is to circulate what? Blood around the body so that oxygen and nutrients can be delivered to the cells. The cells need oxygen and the nutrients, all right? And when they do that, carbon dioxide can be removed from your body. Because if it didn't, you would die. See, a healthy adult heart beats 60 to 80 times per minute if it's healthy. Deoxygenated blood enters the right atrium, then into the right ventricle. That's how the process happens. You see what I'm saying? This is the lungs. I mean, this is your blood. This is your circulatory system. This goes from your head to your toe, all through your body. You see that? 2,000 gallons a day of blood. So that means that this stuff needs to be healthy, man. Heart disease is one of the biggest killers in America every year. And we're taking all of these things, low cholesterol, eat these particular diets, do that. Well, they still haven't put a dent in heart disease. You know, eat whole grain, eat whole wheat. They still haven't put a dent in diabetes. Okay? Eat greens, eat vegan. They still haven't put a dent in cancer. So it's on us as a social community to start wising up to understanding ourselves down to the cellular level so that we can demand the things that the body actually needs and only consume those things. Outside of that, all you need is water. Just drink. If you drink mostly water and give yourself the proper diet, which we'll discuss a little later, I'll let you guys see that this is all you need. All you need. Now, the digestive system. The digestive system by itself cranks out about 1.5 liters just to digest your food. It generates about 1.5 liters of water in here just to get all of that going and flowing. Inside your stomach here is pepsin acid, right? So the reason why you don't need to drink water while you eat, because you water down the pepsin. When you water down the pepsin, then it cannot break down the food in the molecules that it needs. What happens to that? It stays in the stomach longer than what it needs to stay in there for. Okay? It stays in the stomach more than what it needs. So you need to be drinking water throughout your in between meals, right? And you need to drink whatever you're going to drink 30 minutes before. That way that get that time to do what it needs to do to get through the body the way it needs to. And basically the water would just be a lubricant to prepare this for your food. Now, when you eat your food doesn't affect the acid. The pepsin is in there, it's ready to go. It breaks it down appropriately and very quickly and sends it down through the duodenum, all right, and the gallbladder, and then the pancreatic, then your pancreas do what it got to do its final breakdown, right? And then it enters into the small intestine. Okay, then it goes into the large intestine, what we call the colon, and then back up out your rectum. All right. So all of this is why you need to have that water. How do you get water? How do you get oxygen, rather? Through water. So that's why water is so important, okay? Because it's good for the digestive system as well. You can about imagine that if you drink enough water, it's going to make sure that you go to the restroom and urinate, get your toxins out again. And as well, it's going to also, too, allow for you to have a smoother bowel movement, okay? So another reason why you may be dealing with a lot of issues because you're not drinking enough water. Pancreas needed to, the gallbladder needed, the liver needed, all of these things. If you did water and oxygen, a little exercise and some water intake, you'll be good. Now, how many glasses of water you need to take? I would say you need about 8 to 10 glasses of water a day. 8 to 10 glasses of water a day, and that ain't nothing about 1.5 liters for your digestive system. You really need 2. You need to put that 2.5 back. You know, so now just imagine another liter, okay? But you definitely need to understand the science of this, all right? This is the whole point to this. So again, these are some of the things the digestive system do. Now, what's the purpose of the digestive system? It's to break down your food into components the body can use. This is now, even though I put this in the end right here, this is kind of the machine to make everything go. That's why your boo-boo look like it does, because it's broke down into all little particles, okay? Back down to the cellular level, back down to mold, back down to dust, all right? And this is so great about our systems, because not only in our gut do we have pepsin, we also got hydrochloric acid and all that stuff that breaks it down. So now look at this, like glucose for energy, protein for building and repairing cells, and extracting vitamins, minerals, and amino acids for cell function. Man, look at that. Your digestive system gives you the glucose. So this is where it all happens. The protein building and repairing cells, which is why protein is important. Extracting vitamin, minerals, and amino acids for cell function, which is why fatty acids are going to be important. All right. And then you got your greens. Now look, the digestive system begins with the mouth. So now understand this. This is not only about what you eat, but this is also about what you speak, what you put out. It also, too, is a source of your energy. It also, too, is in the building and the repairing of your life. It also, too, is in the extraction of the vitamins and minerals and the things that is needed for your life function. You know, for the vital things, for the important things, for the imperative things that are needed for life function. Okay? It comes from the mouth. When you speak things, how you treat people, what we listen to, they're all effective. Okay, I wanted to kind of twist that, so I want you to get you to understand this in a whole another way that it affects us in a cellular level is what you put out and what you get in. Remember, the cell need energy. Energy. So energy, the currency, our money, all that is sources of energy. Television, entertainment, energy. It detains you and then enters you and gives you a certain energy. Radio frequency is an energy. Okay? Food that is dead gives off no energy. Food that is alive gives off energy. Okay? So now look at this. It begins with the mouth. Okay, whatever you're gonna put out and digest, and what you put out as far as your waste, it all starts with the mouth. Where teeth mash food, the tongue moves it around, and saliva lubricates it and begins digestion. Okay. Now, what are some of the cool facts about the stomach? It can only hold 5.5 gallons of food and liquid. See, we don't understand that the stomach is very small. It's very small. And when we are eating foods past a particular time, and then we go and lay down, that's why you get acid reflux and heartburn, right? Because right there at your little cardiac flap, it's called the cardiac sphincter. That will, the pepsin acid, you just pretty much turn your pepsin acid over to that flap, and then that flap start burning, and then you feel the burn coming up your esophagus. Heartburn. And on the other side is another sphincter. And when you burn that sphincter, or when something slipped through that sphincter because of the unhealthiness of the stomach or the duodenum, when something slips through that, it starts burning the lining. Now you call that leaky gut. The onslaught of adrenal fatigue and all these autoimmune system issues. See, it's a rhyme to it. It's all in the food. So the small intestine, you see there's 16, 20 feet long in an adult. Again, this is where the food kind of goes through, and this is where you get a lot of your secretions from. This is where you get a lot of the water start coming into the food and allowing it to go through. And when it get into the large intestine, or what we call the colon here, you see now this is now it said this is the one that actually creates the fluid, but actually it also too creates this so that it can go through, and so that you can make that really good bile that you need to make, pretty much. All right. So that's the importance of that. All right. Now I wanted to go back to the small intestine. I wanted to see something here. Yeah. Okay. This in the small intestine, the gallbladder secretes gall to break down fats, and the pancreas secretes insulin to manage blood sugar levels. All right. So a lot of people don't know that the pancreas has so much to do with the digestive system, but it has everything to do with your digestive system. Okay. So again, if you can't secrete the insulin, you can't get the glucose. And if you can't get the glucose in the cell, then the cell pretty much dies. And so you can get hit both ways. You can get an issue from over cell death, and you can get an issue for over cell growth. Okay. So we got to be careful with those particular things when we're dealing with the digestive system. So we're here to this point now where we say, man, what are these solutions? I hear you, I hear you, I hear you. All right. So these are your solutions. Like we've been, reverberating the whole video. Drink more water. Even when you think you can't drink no more water, drink some more. Ensure you're getting your daily value of nutrition. Placing emphasis on high fiber, sufficient protein, and good fats like coconut oil and olive oil. So I'm getting it to you. It ain't no more a secret to what health is. It's now about your commitment level. And that is to all things. We don't necessarily need all of these things that we have out in our world, man. It's because we have a lack of commitment, a lack of discipline for ourselves that we need to be herded and cattled. You know what I mean? But I believe that once we can get back to understanding ourselves and who we are, and that we're not just sheep, but that we are somebody, and that we deserve to understand how to maximize our lives and how to maximize the potential of that life. And I'm giving it to you free of charge. All I ask for you to do is share. All you need is a 3-day detox. Now, this is very particular because it takes your liver into 3 phases. And a lot of people want to sell detoxes, but they don't tell you about the phases you go through, that you can get very sick from trying to jump off something without understanding the processes of the liver. But we do this, and you can do this in 3 phases using teas, juices, shakes, and packed with all the stuff that it needs and vitamins and minerals throughout the day. And you need to do this first. And it doesn't matter what you're dealing with. Again, AIDS, cancer, diabetes, heart disease, arthritis, asthma. It doesn't matter what you have. If you're listening to this video, there are ways around and natural ways that you can do it. Some things I know may be difficult, but it's really all about a commitment, and it's all about doing what is necessary to get your body back into what it needs. And all you got to do is know what it needs. It's all you got to do. The secret is the information. Okay. A 3-day detox to go take your liver through this phase that will try to cleanse it and get it back into optimal health, which will then get the functionality of everything back in order. Will put you on the exercise regimen, put you on some other things that you need. This is not all of it, but you put you on some other stuff that you need, and then you can go. So what we want to try to do here at Lethal Valley Essentials here in the near future is create some kind of retreat. So if you guys are into that, if you think that that's viable, if it's something that you feel like you guys would want to support and do, then hey, let me know at www.lethalvalleyessentials.com. You can go on there and subscribe or email us at lethalvalleyessentials@gmail.com. And come on, it's going to be about a 2-week retreat, and we'll feed you and we'll take you through everything that we know how to do, from meditation to acupressure to food to dieting to walking to nature to water to oxygen, and the different various ways that we can do, as well as the herbs and all of that, so that you can have a great understanding of what to do to keep yourself in great health, as well as get yourself in great health. And another thing is going to be this training here, as you can see. But the main solutions, I put them at the bottom. If you can read the bottom of the screen, those are your secrets. Those are your secrets. Those are your secrets to longevity. Those are your secrets to riches. Those are your secrets to life itself. If you can get into any kind of investments in these, careers in these, if you can get close to these and get one with these as being a natural being, get back to the pure nature of these, I promise you, whole life. And all it takes is a commitment from you. All it takes is a commitment from you, man. So all we got to do is continue to raise awareness of the secret, of the keys, and of the things we need to do. And I'm pretty sure you guys will do that, man. And that's what we're doing here. So continue to stay connected and continue to help the movement and join the family, man. I know we say this a lot, but the only way we can continue to keep pushing out the information is from your support. So go tell somebody about your homie, man. A real dude straight from Atlanta, Georgia, bringing you the straight education, man. And look, and I'm not the smartest and the brightest whip on the stick, you see, but I got a big heart. I know what I'm doing this for, you know what I mean? And that's a whole nother thing. And that's another component to all of this stuff as well, man, when you're talking about your health. You know what I mean? Is what you put out. You know, I surround myself with this education. You see what I'm saying? To make sure that even if I can't spell the words right or say the words right, I know what they do. You see what I'm saying? I know what to stay away from and what to go to. I know what the secrets are. I just don't want to charge you for them. But what I do want to do is make sure you get them. And a lot of times we can get this information, but we really don't know how to apply it. Okay, because there is more to it. Okay, but it's not so much more that you cannot do it yourself. Okay, so that's why I said, if you guys need more of this, if you want more of this, let me know. Leave a comment, man. Say something to your homie. Let your boy know that you value the information. Let me know how to switch it up. I'll do that for you. But this video is for you. All you got to do is know that it's your commitment, it's your discipline to your health and to your finances that has got you in the state that you're in. And once you make a commitment to understand first what the right moves to make, how to maneuver, how to circumvent your situation, then you're on the right track. And to know that, you need to know yourself on a cellular level first. And when you know that, then you know thyself. This has been your homie, man. I love you guys, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it, man. And until next time, peace. Yes, sir. Yes,